President Biden meets Chinese President Xi in San Francisco tomorrow. This will be the first in-person meeting in about a year for the leaders of the top two global economies due to geopolitical tensions. For a look at what is at stake, let's bring in Gary Locke, who served as U.S. Ambassador to China and Commerce Secretary in the Obama administration. Mr. Ambassador, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Melissa.
Is it possible that the two presidents could actually declare this meeting a victory, or is there not that much overlap here?
Well, I think they're both going to be trying to come away with a successful meeting for their domestic audiences, the Chinese leader for the Chinese people, and certainly President Biden as he moves into a re-election mode. The most important thing is to create perhaps a baseline of relationships and to improve from there, because certainly neither side wants the relationship to deteriorate any further. We have a lot of concerns about China's trade policies, but also their theft of, their attempted theft of intellectual property in terms of government secrets, but also the technology of American companies. And of course, we want to make sure that China does not get involved, does not support Hamas and the Iranian government, which is supporting Hamas, and certainly not providing any direct military assistance to Russia with the conflict in Ukraine.
That seems like, with an election year approaching, that those two areas would be, paramount to the American people in terms of, us funding, Ukraine, for instance, and China having a direct relationship with Putin. How do we sort of navigate that? Because you cannot send President Xi back with his tail between his legs. He needs to emerge from this powerful. Otherwise, any other agreement would probably just, not happen.
I don't think we should really expect any agreements, but merely a reaffirmation of the relationship and the commitment to reestablish dialogue on a whole host of areas, whether it's military to military cooperation, trying to address climate change, reducing carbon emissions, because both countries are the world's largest emitters of carbon emissions, and so much is at stake. At the same time, China will reaffirm its stance on Taiwan, that Taiwan is part of China and the United States should not interfere. And so I think that both sides will want to simply reiterate to their own audiences and to their own people that they raise these core points and that the other side listened.
President Xi is expected also to host a dinner with top U.S. CEOs, and I'm wondering, from your standpoint as a former Commerce Secretary, how do you think these CEOs should approach China? It is very important for their growth, but at the same time, it is fraught with difficulties, increasingly so, as China cracks down not only on U.S. companies, but its own companies, its own tech sector.
Well, that's going to be a great a topic of concern for the American CEOs. They want China to recommit to opening their markets, as China had promised when it joined the WTO, because China was able to access markets of other countries, which enabled China to grow dramatically and to raise hundreds of millions of people out of poverty. So Western companies have great expectations, and they feel that China has not really lived up to those promises, or certainly not opened up those markets on the pace and on the schedule that had been promised. And so they're going to seek commitments that they are welcome in China. And of course, China wants more foreign direct investment within China because they need more companies to manufacture things there for domestic consumption. And of course, when they open up factories in China to serve the Chinese people, that creates jobs for the Chinese people. And right now, employment is a major issue for President Xi.
Right, especially youth unemployment. And, it's a balancing act, Mr. Ambassador, in terms of dealing with the Chinese economy and courting Western foreign direct investment, but not appearing too weak. I mean, it's sort of a slippery slope here.
Well, very much so. China has really ratcheted up its control of companies, both domestic companies and foreign companies. And what foreign companies and the Chinese companies want is greater predictability. What are the rules? And the Chinese government keeps changing those rules. But nonetheless, China represents a huge market with a growing middle class and upper middle class, and they hunger for products made in America because American products stand for quality, purity, safety. And certainly the more that American companies set up operations in China, whether it's to manufacture cars or making consumer goods, household goods, things that the Chinese people will use in their daily lives, that will create jobs for the Chinese people.